That's why I believe Jesus said, why are you talking to them? Bring the boy to me. And so they bring him over. And as we pick up the story in the book of Mark, the father comes before Jesus and he confesses his own faithlessness. He says, Jesus, I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't help him. And then he adds this phrase and he says, if there's anything you can do, will you do it? And Jesus is saying, are you kidding me? You faithless generation.
Yeah.
You're quitting on helping this boy. And then you come to me and say, if I can help him, will you do it? You clearly don't know who I am.
Yes.
And at this point, Jesus is getting tired of faithlessness. Because how many times do I have to prove to you that I am who I say who I am before you finally just believe? Perfect. Now, how many of you believe that Jesus Christ is God? How many of you believe that God really parted the Red Sea? How many of you believe that Jesus came to the earth, died on a cross, and rose himself from the grave? Okay, let me ask you a question. You think it takes more faith than that to believe that God can do a miracle through you? Listen to yourself. Listen to how crazy the things I just said sound, and you said you believe it.
My God.
Yeah, that's good.
You said that you have enough faith to believe unto salvation, and you think it takes more faith than that to see miracles come through your life.
That's good.
When you say, I don't have enough faith to do this, what you're saying is, I trust in the size of my faith, not in the size of my God.
There it is. Yes.
So when Jesus responds to them, he doesn't say, hey, guess what? When you have a little bit of faith, you can do some miracles, and then when it grows, you can do even more. And then when it grows even bigger, you can do lots of cool things. No, he does something very different. Now, this is not a mustard seed. This is a peso. I don't know how many of you have ever been to Mexico. This is 1 peso. Some of you in the back probably can't even see it because it's so small. Now, if I dropped this on the floor up here, it is so worthless. I don't think anyone in this place would even bother to expend the energy, especially us older people that we weigh out. Do I really want to weigh down and get that? Probably no one's going to pick it up. Because not only is this not worth much in Mexico, it's worth way less here in America. You can't buy anything with this in America. You probably can't even buy anything with this in Mexico. And Jesus says, this is all you need. People use that to walk in a poverty gospel, and that's just as disgusting.
Yes, it is.
And so what we need to understand is that this is not justification for you to walk around with sackcloth and ashes spread all over your head, and God will never do anything for me because I'm just an knock it off. And you're going to see why in just a few moments. But I want to come back to the first 2 verses. And I want to illustrate something to you that I think Jesus was getting at. Because most of us in this place, if not all of us, have done this at some time in your life. Now, when they come and say, Jesus, increase our faith, and Jesus says, hey, guess what? Actually, you already have all you need. You just need a mustard seed side of faith. And if you did that, you could tell a tree to uproot and move. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that happen outside of the Lord of the Rings, but I've never seen it happen. I know that most of us think if Jesus walked in here in the flesh and he sat on the front row, that it would be hunky-dory in here. You're wrong.
That's right.
Drama would suddenly rise up in the camp because people would be saying, hey, how come Jesus is sitting by Hercules over here? What's going on with that? Can you just flex a little bit so everyone knows why we call you Hercules? I mean, if you squeeze him, protein comes out everywhere. It's amazing. I dare you, hug him as hard as you can. It's great. Now, if Jesus came up here, there would be drama because all of us would be suddenly thinking, does he see me? Does he love me? Why is he sitting by them? Doesn't he know they're a sinner? I mean, doesn't he know how much I tithe and how much I go to church and serve in Sunday school? Why? Drama would break out. And you know what would happen? is most of us in this room would suddenly become insecure, and we would try to figure out who is on the inner ring. The book of Luke, chapter 17, we're going to begin in verse 5. Now, I understand that we probably have some Bible students here tonight, and if you've ever taken any kind of Bible class, it doesn't matter if it's an online thing or if it's seminary, or maybe you have a pastor that will say, man, context, context, context. Yeah. Well, what do you do when you have a story that doesn't have much or any context? And so tonight, I'm just going to be honest with you. This story we're about to read seems like it just comes out of nowhere. There's not a lot of context as to why this is happening. However, it is. And it's fascinating to me how Jesus handles this. So in the book of Luke, chapter 17, we'll begin in verse 5. It says, the apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith. Now there's two really important things I want to point out. We know exactly who he's talking to. We don't have to guess. He's talking to the 12 disciples. Yes. We know Jesus had a bunch of disciples, but his inner chamber was 12 disciples, right? Yeah. And those are the people he also called apostles. There was more than one person that came up to me last night after the service was done that they were just too scared to testify. But the Lord healed their bodies, and there's people getting set free from bondage and all kinds of demonic darkness. It's a good day to be on the right side of the line. Amen.